Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I want to talk all about our travel experiences with our baby girl Nalia, who is almost 11 months old. We've now traveled with her 4 times and we have our next trip coming up in just a few days, which is not going to be as intense as the other trips that we've done, but still it's gotten me in the planning mode already for our next trip. So I thought it would be perfect timing to film this video. And yeah, definitely traveling with a baby is a whole other thing. It takes a lot of planning and organization and you have to think about a lot of things, but it's so worth it. The experiences and the memories that you create are priceless, but I know that it can be a very intimidating thing to think about, traveling with a baby, flying with a baby, taking them out of their routine and all of that, but it is so worth it. So I want to share a few of my tips, like gear, things that I use for our trips, like how I structure and organize for our trips. So hopefully for any new parents out there or expecting parents, hopefully you will get some good tips from this video. So to give you a little background, Nalia is, like I mentioned, almost 11 months old, and the first trip that we did with her, she was 4.5 months old, and that was to Barcelona, and that was a 3-hour flight. Crazy thing that some of you guys might know if you watch my vlogs is that we actually lost our suitcases, like our bags were lost on the way to Barcelona, which is insane. Like the first time traveling with our baby, all her clothes, like food, diapers, sleeping things, like everything was basically lost for multiple weeks. Even when we came home, we still didn't have our bags. But that's another thing. So that was that trip. She was 4.5 months old at that trip. And then the second trip that we did was to Geneva, Switzerland, which is an hour away. And then the first big trip that we did with her was to the Maldives, and that was, I believe, a 14 to 16 hour journey door to door. So that was definitely a lot. There was also a little time difference there too of around 3 hours. And then recently we just came back from a trip that you guys might know. We went to Miami, and that was also another, I think it was a 16-hour journey, again door to door approximately. But the crazy thing with Miami was the 6-hour time difference too. So I can definitely say that we've had some good experience traveling with her. We've had different scenarios, short flights, long flights, time zone changes. So I definitely have some tips to share with you guys. Okay, so first thing, just preparation before you travel. So I love to make a list. I like to write things down so I can see everything clearly. It's not swimming around in my head. I like to make a list for both the day of travel, so everything that I'm gonna need for that day, and then also for our stay in general. And of course, what I bring will vary on where we're going, on how long that flight day is. And how I do it is I go through the day and I just think about all the things that I will need. So I will count things like how many bottles I will need, how many change of clothes, how many diapers, a change of clothes for me, like a top especially, and everything from like travel documents, passports. Okay, so a few helpful baby travel specific products that we have found really helpful is, number one, a portable high chair. I'll pop in here what it looks like because it's currently packed away, but it's great. It folds. You can hook this on to pretty much any kitchen island. It's pretty lightweight, fits in your suitcase, and it's easily washable as well, which we found really helpful because baby-led weaning gets messy. Second really useful item is a pack and play. This is a travel crib that just folds open, so you can check this in with your luggage. You can even take it as a carry-on. To go with that, we also have a blackout tent to make it nice and cozy and dark. But with that said though, for these 2 items, these are things that you could call the hotel beforehand and request, which is what we did on our first long trip to the Maldives. They did have a crib there, which was really great, and Nalia slept really well in there, and then we put our own blackout tent on top of it. But when we went to Miami, the crib there that they had, we had also called beforehand to request a crib, but that crib was totally different than what we expected. It had metal bars all around and it was pretty slim, and she kept bumping her head like straight onto the metal bars at night. She would wake up, it was really uncomfortable. They didn't have like a bumper around, so we actually had to order the pack and play that we are now traveling with, and it's so much better. It's a mesh side, so it's breathable, but it's still really soft. And we did get a mattress to go inside as well, which we found to be really comfy. She sleeps amazing in there. We do also bring our Nanit camera monitor as well, so that we can see her when she's sleeping. And we put the camera on a tripod that attaches to the crib, so we can position it on top of her so we can see her. And then of course things for feeding, so her bottles, drying rack, formula. We even took our baby Breza with us. That was really helpful for the first few trips, since she was having a lot of bottles throughout the day. But now that she's almost 11 months old, she's also eating solids 3 times a day. She's not drinking as much milk anymore, so I wouldn't bring that now. But when she was drinking more frequently, especially at night, it is really helpful to have that with. For travel, I really like these formula dispensers, so you can just put in the exact amount of formula, the exact amount of scoops that you need. Just write down in your phone how much water is for those scoops so that you remember, and then it's really easy to just pour this out into a bottle directly, and then you can make a bottle wherever you are, and you don't have to bring the whole formula container with you. Okay, so moving on to the actual flight portion of the trip. This is, I think, what's the most nerve-wracking for every parent. You know, we've all been there on a plane with a crying baby. I've never complained though about a crying baby on a plane, because I always feel for the parents. Maybe because my parents both had kids with their new partners like when I was older, so I sympathize a lot with them whenever they would travel. Just know, if you're ever traveling and you see a parent with a baby, a child, just give them a little smile, send some good energy to them. We've all got to support each other. It's not easy for anybody. But first off, actually starting when you get to the airport. So what we have done is we check our car seat with our bags. I believe you can check 2 bulky items with your suitcases. Depending on the airport and the airline, you can give them a call beforehand to check. But what we do is we check our suitcases. We've got a travel stroller. The one that we have is from Nuna. It's the Nuna Travel. Would highly recommend it. It just folds in an instant, and this you can take all the way to the entrance of the flight, and then they can just take it down into the bottom of the plane, and they'll give it to you when you get off the plane. But at the actual check-in, we give our suitcases and then our car seat, and we do also have a cover for the car seat and for the stroller. I believe at some airports they do provide you with a plastic cover for the car seat and for your stroller, but in some airports they do not, and that's actually been our case for most of the time. So really happy that I got those travel cases. You can get them on Amazon. They're just like a thin nylon zipper bag that are specifically made for these kinds of bulky items. So you get the luggages, the car seat, you've then got your travel stroller, you've got your carry-on bags. This one from Mina Bay is my favorite travel bag. It is a diaper bag, so it has specific compartments in here that make organization a dream, and it's a beautiful bag as well. It's very sleek, just a really great timeless design, and it's super practical. And a backpack is of course amazing for keeping your hands free, which I think is definitely important when you've got a little one. That is great for all of the essentials that I will need close to me, things that I need right away. Then I also like to take this really big mesh bag, which is really lightweight. It's not the most attractive thing, but it's amazing for all of the bulkier items. So you guys can see like how big this is. There's always like something, water bottles, sweaters, like random things that you get, like toys that just take a lot of space and they just need to go in a place. So I really love a large tote bag like that. Also thought I would mention this. This is my little mini diaper bag, and this is actually what I keep the diapers in, the wipes, the cream. And this is great because I can just take this out from my main bag if I don't want to take everything with me into the bathroom, or if Mo is going to be changing her, he can just take this out of my bag, and it has all of the essentials. And again, it's really cute, it's minimal. So I've got wipes, diapers, there's a cream and a spatula, which I keep wrapped in a little tissue. I will have all of these items linked for you down below if you want to check them out. But I also really like this. This is a changing pad that just folds open like this. So I lay this down wherever I am changing her, and she can be on a clean surface. Folds up really nice and small like this. It's easily washable, and I can keep this in the actual mini diaper bag. I do also have this little case from them where I keep a change of clothes for her. I actually have this in here now because we went on a day trip the other day. So there's a little outfit in there for her. And what I like about bags like this, you can even use a Ziploc bag, but a bag where you can also put the dirty clothes back in if something gets spit up on, vomited on, and you don't want that wet clothing to get on the other items. It's nice to have a separate bag where you can keep the things in, so it keeps everything together. A baby carrier is also incredible for travel. Sometimes she just does not want to sit in the stroller, then I can just pop her in the carrier and we can actually use the stroller as like a mode of transporting the other things, which is great. But also the baby carrier is super helpful for when you're actually boarding the plane and she can't be in the stroller anyway. So we pack up the stroller before we get on the flight. I'll put her in the carrier. I've got my hands free. My actual carry-on is a backpack, so I've got baby in the front, backpack in the back. My hands are free to handle the passports, any travel documents. I can just fold up the stroller, give it at the entrance of the airplane, and then I can walk in with her, still being in the carrier and still being able to manage, you know, my other pieces of luggage and get things in the overhead bins. And then once we're actually on the plane, I make sure to have a bottle prepared for her. So I will always get a bottle of water. So I will fill that up about 80% of the way, and then I will ask for hot water wherever we are. So in this case, if we're in the airplane, I will ask the flight attendant for boiling water, or if we're at a restaurant or anywhere out and about, I always just ask for hot water. I'll let them know it's for my baby, and they are always very accommodating. So I just mix my own water with the hot water. I taste it to make sure that it's at a good temperature, and then I will add in the formula from this little container. So feeding her on both takeoff and landing is really great for their ears to get adjusted. Sucking on something can help that ear pressure from building up. So whether you're bottle feeding, breastfeeding, or even if it's a pacifier, all of those things can really help with that regulation. And also going back to planning out the things that I need for the day, I will literally go through like time by time. So say our plane is at 1 p.m, I backtrack. We then have to be at the airport at around 11 a.m, which means that we need to leave home by around 10. Then I also think about how much time we'll be at the airport when we're landing, and then I count the amount of bottles and the amount of formula that I need for the journey. So at this point, let's say the plane is moving, we are taking off, we're going into the sky, feeding Nalia. If it is around her nap time, she will usually fall asleep because the sound of the airplane is so soothing. It's kind of like that white noise, and the soft movement is really soothing for her. So oftentimes she will take a nap. And then actually during the flight, like this is when toys are really important. Any little like stuffed animals or things that she can bite on, play with. I try to have some new things for her that she's never played with before, so that it's really exciting and different. Then I also bring a few of her favorite things, like some of her books that she really likes, some small items, nothing that is like too bulky. I also make sure to download some videos that I know she really likes. Miss Rachel is incredible. I'm sure if you guys are parents, you will know about Miss Rachel. She's great, and I love that her content is actually educational. It's not overly stimulating. It's something that I find very positive. She can actually learn a lot from as well. So I make sure to have a few of those videos downloaded on my phone. And then in general, during the flight, pending how long it is, we will take turns walking her up and down the aisle. On our last trip back from Miami, it was like a 9-hour flight or something. She wanted to crawl around a lot on the floor of the plane. It's of course so dirty on the bottom of those flights, like everyone's shoes, like the toilets, everything that spills and all the dirt and stuff that gets on there. My anxiety was going through the roof, but it's literally impossible to not allow them to crawl around. And she thought it was hilarious. She was like going up to everyone's shoes and like touching their, oh my gosh. But anyway, just letting them move their legs and move around. Also, I've mentioned this in pretty much every one of my like mommy baby videos, but the Huckleberry app is so important for me. I track her sleeps with that, when she's had her bottles, how much she's had. It's super helpful for me, especially when we travel as well. Even though their routine, how long they sleep, the amount that they sleep will be totally off, but I do still really love to keep track of that, and the app just tracks all of that information. It's super easy to use, and this way I know if she's fussy, maybe it's time for her to eat again, or maybe I should try to put her down for a nap. Me and that app are like BFFs. It's amazing. So once we've arrived at our destination, one of the first things that Mo and I both prioritize is setting up her sleep space. Getting the bed out, putting the mattress in, the blackout tent, the monitor, getting all of that set up. And most of the time where we've arrived at a place, it's been in the evening time, which is actually really great for if you are changing time zones, because usually at the end of a long travel day, you will be exhausted, your baby will be exhausted, and it's a great time to use that to actually get them on the right time zone. But again, keeping their sleeping environment consistent, or as consistent as it is at home, keeping that as familiar as possible as with home, I think that is so important. So if you use a sound machine, which we do at home, I take the same one with, so she has the same sound, creating a cozy environment for your baby. So with, again, a crib, a blackout tent so that it's nice and dark. If you use any like loveys or stuffies or blankets, we use a sleeping bag, so we always make sure to travel with the same one. Going back to switching time zones, so we did that with her 2 times. Once was 3 hours forward when we flew to the Maldives, and then Miami was 6 hours backwards, and that one was hard. It does take a few days, just like with us. I think by day 4 she was pretty much fully adjusted, which was amazing. Definitely having patience with your little ones and doing similar things that you would do for yourself to get yourself on the time zone. So for me, for example, seeing sunlight first thing in the morning to stimulate melatonin production for later on in the evening. Making sure to just get outside a lot during the day so that your baby can know kind of what time it is just based on the sunlight. Also with the bedtime as well, trying to stay consistent with your night routine that you do at home, having something similar like that wherever you are. So if you do bath time, if you read books, just trying to create that same consistency for your baby, because babies thrive on consistency, on routine, on knowing what is going to come next. Of course, not every night might look like that, especially if you're traveling, you're doing things in the evening time, and you know, maybe things get rushed. But just know that babies love consistency and love routine. It will probably help them to fall asleep easier, to stay asleep for longer. I do think that being flexible is super important when you are traveling with your little ones, because obviously things are going to be different. You are doing different things during the day. You might be having dinners later. For me, what I've always tried to do is at least have one of her naps be a really consistent, like good solid nap in her crib, because I have noticed when we do naps on the go, which are definitely still valid and still very important when traveling, they're not as long and as juicy and as deep as those crib sleeps. And then using the baby carrier or stroller for the other naps is amazing. For on the go, if you want to be flexible, if you're, you know, visiting different places or you're going out, baby carriers and strollers are just amazing for that. On the topic of strollers as well, as I mentioned, we do travel mostly with the Nuna Travel, but on our trip to Miami, because we were there for 3 weeks, I wanted to bring our Upper Baby Vista stroller, which is the one that we use day to day. I knew because of the length of time that we were there that she was going to be having quite a few of her day naps in the stroller, so I wanted her to be extra comfortable. And with that stroller, of course, you can lower the seat down, the canopy extends all the way, you can turn the seat both front and back, so there was just a lot more options of, you know, ways to keep her comfortable on the go in that stroller. Also on the actual stroller, I love to have this hook attachment. I will have it linked down below. It's from Amazon, where you can easily hook on your bag, anything with handles. It's super convenient. And then I also have a caddy, like a stroller caddy on there too. I also have this for day-to-day life, just here at home. And there you can put like easy access things like your phone or a water bottle or anything that you need quick access to. It's great just to have that there. We did also eat at a lot of restaurants with Nalia as well, so making sure that we brought little things for her, like little toys. Our dinners were definitely not very long. Looking over the menu, ordering, eating, playing a little bit with Nalia, and then we go. It is actually really nice though when Nalia is eating now that she can have her own little plate. Obviously it's a silicone plate that doesn't break, but eating in general is such a great like sensory activity for her. So that actually allows us to have some time to eat as well. Having wipes on hand as well is super helpful, both like baby wipes for cleaning up any spills, messes, like hands, food that gets into places, but also disinfecting wipes for the like restaurant tables, high chairs, and beyond that, just have fun. Like, make those memories, take those trips, have those experiences, take lots and lots of pictures and little videos for yourself. I love that she also gets to have these experiences from such an early age. A really special thing. It's not always easy, but I think if you plan ahead, if you prepare, and you have a few good travel like baby gear staples, things that can really help you along the way, I think that can make the trip run a little smoother. Again, I'll make sure to have all of the products and items that I mentioned down below in the description box, and links to as many of the things that I can find as possible. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found some helpful tips. I would love to hear from you. If you're also a parent and you have any travel tips for me or for any of the other viewers watching this video, definitely let us know down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this sit down mommy baby chat, I have a few other videos where I go into other topics like our sleep journey, our breastfeeding journey, my birth story, our newborn essentials, and different videos like that. I will have them linked down below for you as well if you want to check them out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're having a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah. Bye guys.